So, I'm Lord Doom for John Murphy TV, and today I'm talking to Johnny Brown.
Hi, Lord Doom.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
So, introduce yourself, Johnny. Tell us a little about yourself.
I'm Johnny Brown, and I run the Band of Holy Joy. And we've just released an album yesterday called Fated Beautiful Mistakes. And because we don't play gigs much these days, I've asked Sean if I could borrow the gallery, and we've put an exhibition on.
That's great.
Called Fated Beautiful Tangle of Things. And that's why we're all here today.
So tell us how it all started. I mean, you started off in Newcastle.
I'm a Geordie, yes.
So, did
North
you have a
Shields.
band in Newcastle, or...?
I had a punk band when I was 15 called
Okay.
Speed. Yeah.
Okay, and how did you get to London, and how?
Well, you met the Pistols, didn't you?
Oh, lots of sort of stuff. Yeah, just by
Yeah,
mistake,
I know,
really.
yeah,
I
it's
just wandered down to London and just never went home, basically.
So basically, tell us what that was like. Tell us when you went to London. What happened? Tell us the story about you just arrived in London.
Yeah.
You've got a band in Newcastle.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the band in Newcastle anymore. The band was like in 1976, 77,
Right.
Speed, and I sort of grew out of punk very fast.
Yeah.
And I was actually working on the beach and taking psychedelics, and I was growing my hair long. And there was a band in North Shields called Crawling Chaos, who were sent to Factory, who were a very heady sort of mushroom type band, who I was sort of hanging out with, I guess. And they came to play a gig at the Rock Garden in Covent Garden. You know the Rock Garden?
Yeah.
Horrible little venue. But they came down to play, and I came down with them to London. And I was just stood there watching the band. And then another friend, Tony, walks in and I said, "Yeah, what are you doing here?" He said, "I'm living in London now." He said, "There's a party tonight." He says, "Are you coming to the party?" So I said, "The band, yeah, see you later. I'm off, to a party in London." I've been coming to London a lot, by the way. They're just sort of shoplifting. I used to go to King's Road shoplifting all the time. I loved clothes.
Nice.
When I was a kid, and I loved shoplifting, bumping trains. And so I ended up in a party. The next night there was another party. Then the next night was a club. And obviously I had nowhere to stay, but these two girls, Anne and Sasha, says, "Look, Johnny, we've got a squat in Elephant and Castle. You can come and live with us." So I ended up, one second, so I ended up living with these two girls, sharing a bed with them in
Nice.
Elephant and Castle for about 3 or 4 months. It was superb. This was the winter of 79, early 80.
Now let me tell you. Can I ask you now? Were you having sex with both these girls?
No, it was totally innocent. It was totally just taking drugs with them.
Just ruined it now. You know what I mean? I'll be going, yes, yeah, no, yeah. Oh no, just took drugs with them. Oh yeah, all right, okay.
Lord Doom, there's some things you don't say on camera.
Yeah, I don't come across many gentlemen, trust me.
But funnily enough, I'd split up with my girlfriend, Julie, in Newcastle, but she hot-footed down to London. So actually the three in the bed thing was soon out, you know, and the squatting thing was, and this street in Elephant and Castle was called Orient Street, and all the buskers who did Oxford Circus and Tottenham Court Road in those days, they all lived there. So it was and a load of Hells Angels lived there. Fantastic street.
Yeah, great.
And so it was just partying every night there, you know. But when my girlfriend Julie came down, she put the kibosh on it, you know. And all of a sudden I had to go straight, you know. So I moved to a housing association in West Norwood, and then the housing association went, "Look, we've got these houses." It was cheap housing for postgraduates. I haven't even got CSE, you know. They went, "Look, we've got some new premises, but they're in this place called New Cross Gate." No one in the court would move there, you know. I said, "I'll move there." So me and my girlfriend moved there. She ran off with someone. All of a sudden, I was in New Cross. It was the best thing that ever happened to us. I was like 19, 20 years old, footloose, fancy free in New Cross. I met these lads who took us in.
So you're telling
Els, Bones, Gwynny, Bill, Hayward, Evs, Sutcliffe. These guys all took us in as mates, you know. I had all these student mates from Goldsmiths College. I had all these fashion mates. They were the best years of my life.
So you're telling me the best thing that happened to you was your girlfriend leaving you?
Fine.
Right.
When you're 19 years old, yeah, she was totally constricting, you know. You don't want that sort when you're 19. Oh, fuck it.
Okay, tell me about some of the interesting people you come across when you moved to London.
Elwood?
Of course.
I met everyone when I first came to London. I was so social, you know. In New Cross in those days, on a Friday we used to go clubbing, but Saturday night was party night in houses. And then Wednesday night was Goldsmiths College, the disco. I was out every single night. Every night. And I was always in Soho, and on Tuesday nights till like 5 in the morning. But we lived in a big house like that house there, you know. Again, it was a squat in Nettleton Road, and we had a basement, and I lived with Test Department. You know, the metal bashing band?
Yeah.
The industrial band?
Yeah.
We shared a house, so we shared their rehearsal space. So we had old Vox organs and Casios, and we just used to make a racket, you know. And out that racket became the band Holy Joy.
Okay, that's cool.
And we used to play gigs with the Braden Morbius.
So that's how Holy Joy started. Tell me a little bit about your times in Holy Joy.
It was a band who couldn't play, but we could write songs really well. We were really good at writing songs and articulating the sort of times that we were living in. We were very adventurous, and we used to take lots of drugs and drink lots in those days. And the band of Holy Joy originally were a temperance society in Dublin who didn't drink, you know.
Well,
so we stole the name and subverted it, because there was lots of us who were trombone players and accordions. And we started playing gigs in London. We never played the straight gigs, you know, the Marquee or the. We used to find venues for us. The Brain used to do it too. We used to find venues for ourselves. Weird little wine bars in the city, church, cellars, you know, old strip clubs and things. And we just started playing. We built up a following.
Okay.
Next thing, when you were on the front page of Melody Maker and having documentaries made about us, which was
Really?
Wow.
in hindsight, it was a bit weird, you know.
Tell us
At the
about.
time, I just didn't. It was water for a duck's back. I thought
Yeah,
it was just, you know, I thought I was just Jewish, you know. In retrospect, I wasn't.
Just normal thing.
No, yeah.
Tell
When
us-
you're young, you're arrogant, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us
of
about
course.
the documentary.
I wasn't arrogant, by the way, was I? Ever. But yeah.
Tell us about the documentary, because that's very interesting.
It was a stitch-up job. That was my first ever dealings with the media. And until I just didn't know what the media was, you know. I didn't know what television was.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought it was News at 10, you know, on Coronation Street. But working with them, how they operate, and how they edit everything afterwards and stitch it up, was a real eye-opener. You know, we spent 12 days with these guys from ITV, south of Watford, and the presenter was, what's he called? He's a really famous guy. He made a blues album.
You put me on that
White
one.
guy, you know,
Oh, yeah.
posh.
Oh yeah.
Was that the guy who went to New Orleans and did
Probably.
piano player and
I
stuff?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
He's quite. It'll come to us tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
But he was. This guy was a presenter. I was 16.
Yeah.
It was 1977. I think it was about August the 26th or something. And the Sex Pistols were on a secret tour, Spots. And in Whitley Bay, in Newcastle, where I lived, there was only about 20 punk rockers. And this was 1977. I was one of them. And yeah, I just loved it, you know. And we had this punk club and a gay club called Gatsby's. It was the only place in the whole of the northeast where we wouldn't get beaten to shit. You know, every other pub, if you walk in, if you're a punk, I got beaten up every day, more or less. But again, the TV cameras. Actually, this was my first dealings with the TV cameras. Look North came down to film the punk rock shock phenomenon.
All right. All 20 of you.
The dirty punks, yeah. So they interviewed us with my arms around these two girls at about 2 o'clock in the morning in this gay club. And they said, this is Johnny, we hear you've got a feud with the Teddy Boys. I went, no. I says, we've got no problem with Teddy Boys. It's the Northern Solars we hate. Mistake. I was only 16. And then it went out, but 2 weeks later, it comes on the telly, and my mum and dad are sitting there eating their dinner. We now go to Gatsby's Gay Club to investigate the punk rock shock horror phenomenon that is sweeping the nation. We've interviewed some of these dirty punks.
Dirty
Cuts my friend Ricky walking down Northumberland Street, Newcastle, with his Adidas bag with his blue hair, you know, shoplifting. And then, of course, we now go to the Gay Club. We interview Johnny Fusion out of the band Speed. So I did this thing, you know, where I just loved being a punk, and I didn't mind Teddy Boys, but I hated Northern Solars, and cracking on. it comes on the telly. My dad just went, "You're a fucking puff!" Boom, smacked
No.
us like that. My mum went, "You call me queer, son, you call me..." I said, "Mother, I'm a punk." She said, "I've had it with this punk lock. You and your bloody Iggy Pop and your Sex Pistols record, you're not going out for 2 weeks." I said, "Hey, you can't do that to us, I'm 16. Are you paying rent?" I went, "No." My dad says, "You're staying in."
Oh,
The phone rang. It was my friend Angie, this black girl. She went, "Johnny, the Sex Pistols are playing tomorrow in Middlesbrough." Yep. Okay. So I just jumped out the window. I got a train. We got a train in Middlesbrough. There's me, Angie, this Bowie clone called Sutton, and this girl I was saying, Jane. And we got a train to Middlesbrough in the afternoon. Got off the train, walked to Middlesbrough. This place called the Rock Garden. This white van turns up, like a minibus. This fucking big fat fucker gets out. And he went, I thought, fucking hell, building site workers, we're going to get done. He went, "Oi mate, where's the Rock Garden?" I looked at him, I could see his spiky red hair and the spiky black hair. I said, "Yes, the fucking Pistols." This guy went, "Fucking shut up." He was just joking, but he went, I ducked, you know. And he went, "Where is it?" I says, "Down the road, just we'll follow you," you know. So they went off. This guy was called Boogie. I didn't know at the time, he's that John Taberry, you know. It's Boogie. He went, "Fucking bam." We'll follow them straight in and we'll watch the sound check.
wow.
Sid Vicious on bass, he couldn't play bass, you know.
No, he couldn't.
And it was apparent, and I loved the Pistols, I like Glenn Matlock, you know. We watched the sound check. As we went out, I was the last one to leave. And this big fat guy, again, he comes out of the dressing room, he just pulls us by the neck, and I was really skinny and little then, I was 16. He pulled us in, he threw us into the dressing room, and there's fucking Steve Jones, sorry the language, and he went, "Tell him the time." I says, "Eh?" He says, "Tell him the time." I'm 3:30. He says, "Tell him the time again." I says, 3:30. He says, "Tell him the time again." I says, "Hey man, it's fucking 3:30. And my head was going, Steve Jones, I'd heard he's a boxer, you know. Are they going to beat us up for a laugh? I thought, no. I went, "Hey man, it's fucking 3:30. What the fuck's wrong with it?" He went, "Tell you, Steve, they all talk funny up here." Steve Jones went, "Where you from, mate?" I saw Newcastle. He went, "Newcastle? It's fucking Scotland, ain't it?" I went, "Aye." He says, "It's like 100 miles up there." I says, "Aye." It's only 30 miles, you know. Yeah. But he went, "And you've came all the way to see us?" I went, "Aye." He went, "Fucking, that's great." He says, "Boogie, get him a ticket." He said, "You got a ticket?" I went, "No, I've just came down the train. I've just got the train down. You just get him a ticket." Next thing, came back with a ticket, you know. Whoa. I stayed in that dressing room for 2 hours with him, with Steve Jones and Paul Cook talking. Sid Vicious was comatose in the corner. Johnny Rotten kept himself to himself, you know. And I just cracked on to Paul Jones and Steve Cook for 2 hours. The nicest lads I've ever met in my life.
So what was the topic of conversation you were talking about at the time?
Football, Chelsea fans,
Oh,
Newcastle,
right. Okay.
football hooliganism, music, New York Dolls we talked about.
Okay.
We talked about all sorts of different things. Just I can't remember now, you know. But then they went, "We're going back to the hotel, you know. See you later, enjoy the gig." They went out, I went out, the queue was round the block by this time. And because I'd been on telly the night before, looked north, everyone just went, "Whoa, Johnny Fusion." I walked around, and my mates from Newcastle went, "Johnny, we haven't got tickets." They went, "Get in there and get the side door, you know." So they got us over the thing, they got me ticket, went in. I just went and opened it, let them in, 20 of my mates all rushed in, you know.
Fucking hell. Brilliant.
The gig was all right, you know. It was without Glenn Matlock, and I'd been getting all the bootlegs because I had older friends who were 21 who were going to Manchester and Leeds. I'd give you a cassette, Manchester Electric Circus, remember? I was getting cassettes, so I knew them inside, all the songs inside out.
Yeah, yeah.
They weren't the same without Glenn Matlock.
We saw Glenn
Sid
Matlock
looked
the
great.
other day, funny enough. We went to see him. It was quite interesting, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when music, you improve musically, you lose something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You agree with that?
I agree. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us. Right. Okay. So basically, tell us about your times in the band, where you played and what you did, and because now you.
Can I just say though, when I got back to Newcastle, I ran away from home for 2 weeks. I got back, and then there was a death threat out on us, you know, by the Northern Solar said, "We're going to kill you." And Sean's girlfriend saved me life.
Because she was a
She was a
Northern
Northern
Soul
Soul
girl, yeah.
And
But you both were punks together from school, yeah.
60 Northern Soulers came down to the gay club and they were going to kill us, you know. She went outside, she said, look, it's just Johnny, he's just an idiot, you know. Just ignore him, you know. And then a few other Northern Soulers that turned punk, they went outside and just diffused it. And then this Northern Soul called Manus Doherty, who's the coolest guy in the whole of Newcastle, Northern Solar. He just got us in the toilets and he's wrapped in bandages and he had a Northern Soul badge. He says, Johnny, what's that? So let's keep the faith. He says, yes. He says, I'm working class, you're working class. What the fuck are you doing? Insulting Northern Soulers and Teddy boys. It's not the enemy, Johnny. The enemy is someone beyond us. Not fucking your own. You don't fight amongst your own. Wow, that's my first lesson in life. It was like a slap in the face. And I've never forgot it since, you know.
Okay.
You know, the enemy's, you know,
No,
Boris
yeah,
Johnson.
of course, yeah.
You know, the enemy's Margaret Thatcher. It's not Northern Soulers.
The Antichrist.
So tell me about the times in your band and how, sort of like, did you ever meet the Sex Pistols again, by the way? Or was that the first and last time you ever
Met
saw
Johnny
them?
Rotten.
Oh, right, okay. And how did that go?
He's a prick.
yeah.
Basically.
Right, tell us how that went. So tell us a little bit about that.
He was. We became mates with this band called James.
Right.
And we used to tour with them loads, and they played this gig at Alton Towers, and Pill was supporting, and I love Pill, by the way.
Yeah.
And after the gig, James says, look, we're going back to Manchester, here's all the hotel cards, just stay there and just do whatever you want, you know, just fucking lash it, you know. So I went back, and Public Image were on the bar in the basement, and I had this trombone player called Adrian, you know, and he had a V-neck jumper on, and Johnny Rotten went, look at you, mate, what an idiot you look like, in your V-neck pullover, blah, blah, blah. Really started bullying him, you know. And Adrian's quite... I just stood up, I said, yeah, stand up. Johnny Rotten, what? I said, stand up. And he stood up, he had this blue turquoise shell suit on. I says, you're calling him an idiot. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? I says, you're a state man. He freaked, you know. And he just sat down.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So that was telling Johnny Rotten.
I guess I did, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
I like Johnny Rotten, you know. I love Pill, and I love.
No,
you know, I
I've
just,
seen Pill 3 times.
You know, total respect.
Yeah,
you know.
it's cool.
But that's
yeah.
only the other time I've run into them.
Yeah, okay. So, tell us about your times in the band. Tell us about the most exciting thing that ever happened when you're in a band. The most interesting thing.
Oh, in
most
Iceland?
crazy thing.
Oh, in Iceland with Sean.
Is that the most crazy thing that ever happened?
Was it crazy, Sean? When we went to Iceland?
Iceland, yeah, that was good.
Okay, tell us about Iceland then. There you go.
No, go on, you
Yeah,
do.
come on, get in there and tell us about Iceland.
No,
Come on,
it's
man.
fine. His version's better.
Okay.
I actually don't remember much.
All right, tell us about...
Sean, this is Sean McCluskey.
Yeah, we've interviewed him already, yeah.
Well, Sean used to run a club called the Brain Club, which is in Wardour Street,
Yeah,
at the
tell us
bottom end of Wardour Street, and it was the best club in London. It was just, you know, every night was something different, and it was just not like the other clubs at the time. And Holy Joy had been to Iceland 2 winters before, and it was wild, you know. But then Sean got an offer to do a club night out there, so he hired an aeroplane, and he took us all out, and he took the band out, but he took a load of DJs and he took a load of artists out there, and we colonised Reykjavik for a weekend, and it was Midsummer's Night. It was the 21st of June. It was, you know, it didn't go dark.
They still have a festival there every year, I think, don't they?
I think so, but this was before there was any festivals.
Yeah, of course.
Bjork was about to go. She wasn't even. It was Sugar Cubes, you know.
Just left Sugar Cubes and she,
Yeah, and
on that trip she met Simon Lovejoy, and Simon stayed and wrote her first album with her, of her electronic stuff. Yeah.
he didn't get the credit, did he?
No, he got fucked by Warner Brothers.
Yeah. So at that time in Iceland, they weren't really used to London. You know, I think Holy Joe were the 4th band ever to go out there the first time, and then Sean took Happy Mondays, they were the 5th.
Yeah.
This was the 6th with all these DJs, so they're still very naive. You know, they were very, and we were very cynical. You know, and we just went and plundered the place. But we took a load of acid. Lord! You know, so we're all on the plane tripping, you know.
Beautiful, man.
It was just a beautiful, crazy time, you know. And we had the BBC cameras following us.
You're-
better again.
Hang on a minute, how come the BBC were there?
How come the BBC
We
with it?
just had, I don't know, we had like really good press come with us. Like the first trip we had the Face and another film crew, and the second trip was the same. It just, I'm not sure, I think it was something to do with the Icelandic Tourist Board. I think they got a press agent on it because they wanted to create this connection, and it became like a fixture, like the sort of clubbing in Reykjavik after we'd done it. It became a thing that they did, you know, to get people to go there at the weekend. And also they did that deal with their Iceland Airways. If you booked to go to New York via Reykjavik and you stayed for one night in Reykjavik, it was like half the price of any other flight. But you had to go on a really small plane.
Okay,
Yeah.
now you tripped out your heads, you arrive in Iceland, now what happens?
Everything.
Go on, tell us, you can't just say everything, you've got to sort of like be specific.
I saw a snuff movie.
Really? Where?
6 o'clock in the morning. There was this party in a video shop, and they were playing hip hop, and one by one all these left. And I was just loving the hip hop, you know. I don't even know which night this was, you know. The nights just went into each other. There was parties and saunas and steam, everyone was on the potters too. It was just, it never stopped, you know. But everyone left this video shop, and I was the only one left with these two Vikings, again with Turkish shell suits on.
They were
blonde hair.
Vikings. They didn't have the Ill Downwits on or the, you know, or Viking armour.
Just Viking blonde.
Oh yes.
Big
Big
Viking blonde.
bastards.
Yeah. Killers,
Oh,
you
yes.
know.
Yeah.
Fighters.
Oh yes.
But hip hoppers, so I loved the hip hop, and I was dancing, I was just having a little dance, and they went, Johnny, look, on the video screen, this guy was running across the rocks. This other guy picked the rock up and just battered him. Blood everywhere, you know. They went, what do you think? Snuff.
Do you think he might have stayed a bit too long at this point?
I literally backed out. I just, guys, that's wonderful. I opened the door and the hotel's around the corner, you know. I fled.
Similar one in Iceland at the end of a party, and ended up at someone's house, and they kind of got me in the bedroom, this big Viking, and he opened the wardrobe and he had like sort of SS uniforms hanging on fucking hangers, and he was sort of getting them out and showing me them, and it was very nice, mate. Yeah, see you later. Sort of slid out, not knowing where I was.
Right, so what else happened in Iceland? I dread to ask, really, you know what I mean? So what else happened in Iceland?
Just use your imagination, you know.
No, I don't have to use my imagination. This is an interview. We don't do imagination. We need statements.
I think we've had enough Iceland. I think, you know, you just use your imagination for whatever happened next. But it was eventful. Austria, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, met the
Me and Elva went to Austria, okay, to a place called Graz for the Festival of Erotic Literature in 1985 or 86 or something.
Wow.
And Kathy Acker, the writer, Kathy's favourite band was the band of Holy Joy. So she got invited to the Festival of Erotic Literature, which is in the Opera House. And she said, I'll only play if I can take my favourite band of Holy Joy. And we were going to back her. So we'd play a few tunes while she did a Kathy Acker thing, and then we'd play a set. And they says, okay, you're going on stage. It was the Opera House, 2,000 people. It was being filmed to 7 million people. It was live. And it was really weird. It was lots of kiddie porn. Art kiddie porn, you know. And the audience all had tuxedos on and fur coats.
Kiddie porn.
Kiddie porn, yeah.
So we've gone from fucking snuff movies to kiddie porn.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep, it's all in.
Those bloody foreigners. You know what I mean?
Not
Jesus Christ.
Not just kiddie porn, we're back on Nazism, okay? Because before we went on stage, they went, by the way, Kurt's going to introduce you. We went, Kurt? Who's Kurt? They went, Kurt Waldheim, the Prime Minister. The stage wasn't one of these revolving ones, you know. So we got the stuff set up. The revolver on the stage, I started singing, Kurt a Nazi wanker, Kurt a Nazi wanker.
Do you think that was advised?
Pardon?
Do you think that was advised, being in this country and everything?
Well, you're young and you
All
make
right,
statements.
Okay.
They revolved us off, and then while this German girl in the band, she just went crazy in German. started screaming at the producers to revolve it back on. So we started again with a Casio beat. Kurt's a Nazi wanker. The whole place was going, fucking hell. We finished the set, went back in the dressing room. He'd been shoplifting for days.
Yeah, there he is. We've seen had another side of you tonight, man.
You made more money from shoplifting than you did from the music
Oh,
industry.
shoplifting,
All right,
absolutely, yeah.
carry on.
We had the best champagnes. We had the best whiskies. There was these anarchist poets, Wolfgang Bauer. He was crying. He says, "Johnny, I've been an anarchist for 30 years, trying to affect change in Austria. You're here 10 minutes and you've upset the president. How do you do it?" We just all have a bottle of whiskey. So we're drinking. Next thing, this guy came.
Where did the whiskey come from? Did he supply the...
He stole it. Next thing, there's a knock on the door.
Got shoplifted.
And this guy pops his head round. He says, "Band of Holy Joy." I went, "Aye." He says, "I represent Kurt Waldheim." I said, "Oh, here we go." And he went, "Kurt's invited to a party at his house tonight, his place tonight." He says, "There's a minibus waiting for you outside. Would you do the honour of attending?" I went, "Aye." So it was like,
And you actually got on this bus
We got on
after
the
you've
bus.
insulted him in public.
Into a ditch in the woods.
Yeah.
no, it was a castle in the mountains. We went up. We thought, fuck, he's going to kill me when we get to the top. And we're great. And we're getting more and more drunk on this whiskey, you know. We got out the minibus, and it was a castle on top of a mountain.
No electricity.
No electricity. It was lit by millions of candles with all these stag heads.
Did you
and
get...
this brocade.
At this point, did you think maybe I'm going to get sacrificed?
No, no. One moment we did think he's going to kill me.
You know what I mean?
Now, when you're young, you don't think about sacrifices. You just think, let's go.
Well, candles and
So,
sacrifice go together.
castle
Let's
went-
put it this way, if I went in somewhere in a castle with loads of candles, I'd think, fuck me, maybe it's a human sacrifice. Like, I've insulted the guy, he's called me there, I'm in the shit. That's what I would have thought personally. But obviously you're made of stronger stuff. Carry on.
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
The castle went round and round, and all of a sudden there's this long corridor, and there was a string quartet playing and Klein the knack music. Da, 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 da. And then look at this, and there was Kurt shaking hands with all the people as they came, all the guests, you know. And then we sang that down. And he puts his hand up with his violin player, Carl. Carl's the most sarcastic bastard in the world. Remember Carl? Yeah. Kurt goes, Carl just goes. All the cameras are on. Kurt just goes. The rest of us just troop straight past and go straight for the table with all the food on, you know. We start having a food fight. Kathy Acker by this time is gutted. Our whole credibility, you know, being an alternative artist is gone. You know? We're just animals. We're throwing food about. We're just drinking champagne like this. And this young lad sidles up to us, you know. He's about 14 years old. And he says, "You're the Band of Holy Joy." I says, "Yes." He says, "I watched you perform." He says, "You're all right." He says, "I like the girl. I quite fancy her. Max, you know." He says, "But you know, your music, it's okay. But my music, Screwdriver."
Screwdriver.
Really?
Oh, fucking
And you were
hell.
14 years old. You went, "Screwdriver are a great band who we very much admire in Austria. We were in the lair of the Nazis, you know."
Oh,
And he was really
definitely.
posh, this kid, you know. I went, "All right, okay." I said, "I fucking hate it. I don't like Screwdriver." He went, "Oh." And then it just all kicked off with all the food fights. And we left. That was it. Kurt just stood and watched it all.
Fucking hell,
Funny
man.
enough...
That's right, isn't it? My memory's not deceived us. That's
Yeah.
And then the next day we're on the front page of all the papers. And they called us the peasants of the Ruhr Valley for some reason. They called us German. The peasants of the Ruhr Valley destroyed Kurt's party.
I used to go to this club in
Yes.
London, and I
Something,
used to,
man.
this bloke, I met this
Fucking
bloke
hell.
in there, and I used to have a drink with him every weekend, and he was a nice bloke. And somebody goes, "Why are you drinking with him?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, what's the matter with him?" And they were going, "You know, that's the fucking lead singer of Screwdriver." And I've been drinking with him, and he was okay. I didn't say anything racist or anything, I didn't fucking
All
know.
right when it's just one of them.
Yeah.
It's when you get more than one Nazi in a room, it gets a bit weird.
Well, there you
Fine,
go.
on the
So, okay, any more places you fucked up or been, or like, you know, sort of like, I mean, did you go to America?
Yeah, I fucked up in New York, I fucked up in San Francisco, I fucked up in LA,
Yeah, okay.
I fucked up in New Orleans.
Right, tell us New Orleans then, because John writes from New Orleans. Just do the New Orleans.
Went down that Mardi Gras thing, you know. And just went on
Oh God!
and we just went on a bender, and I got mugged, I
No.
got beaten up. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it, you know.
Really enjoyed getting mugged and beaten up. You must have been on some fucking good shit.
I enjoyed my time there. Yeah, New York. Yeah, New York. I spent a lot of time in New York.
Did you like New York? Did you get mugged and beaten up there?
No, but I was in a riot in Tompkins Square in New York
How did you
on
get in a
ecstasy.
riot? Tell us about the riot.
I was in a bar and I just dropped this really strong American ecstasy tablet, you know.
Yep.
And it was Tompkins Square where the victims, the homeless. So everybody came out and riot. It was the 1987 riot, and I thought, wow, I've got to get involved in this, you know. So I was only young.
Get involved. You would have been about 27.
That's young for me, you know. So,
30?
I don't know. Yeah, it was great though. It was really good, and I thought I've got to get out there. And I was with my friend John Moore at the Jesus and Mary chain. And John went out, but the bouncer, Stan, he was this big black guy, says, Johnny, you're not going out there, mother. You know, you're not going out there. I said, oh, wait, Stan, let us out. Come on, just have a wander around. And it was kicking off. It was all helicopters, guns. And he says, listen, if you go out there, you're going to get arrested. You're going to lose your passport. I'm never going to see you again. He says, so he's put us in the window of the bar. So I just sat with two girls from the record company, Rough Trade, and just watched the riot for 3 hours. It was like TV. It was beautiful. Just like starting out.
So, tell us about the women. You seem to always, your stories always seem to end that you had a woman on each arm.
I didn't know, I was just watching the
Tell
riot.
us about, what's the most famous person you ever slept with? How about that for a question?
I'm not telling.
Bollocks.
I'm absolutely not telling.
Right, does anybody here want to ask any more questions?
Trying to think, yeah.
So where are you from, Lord? What's your crack?
I want
to ask a question.
I was a punk poet. I can put all my things. My poems were about shagging animals, inflatable dolls, and the dead. Let's put it this way: I never made it big. So that's it. So you know.
Do you still write?
No, but I do interviews, which is I don't know. So I do interviews by mistake. So I do interviews.
Yeah.
That's it. So.
Holy Joy is still going.
If you want the real stories on Holy Joy, the man you must interview is Bill Lewington.
Is he here?
He's not here now. He was here last night. He's around. He's gone straight.
It's always yesterday, isn't it? So if you were here yesterday, it was all going to go off. It would have been great if only you were here yesterday.
Els has got his number, okay? So Els can put you into it. Bill's got the stories. Bill's got the tales, basically.
Okay, that's cool.
Yours were quite
it's,
good. I know, but
well, if nobody else has got any questions,
What about the more recent Holy Joy?
No, I'm not interested. That's good. That's good. It's good to talk about things. A few things.
okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to?
But what I will say actually, because I've been arsing about and I've been clowning about for you, is when you're young you do clown about, even though there's a serious intention there. I think as you get older you clean up a bit, and the things you do now, do them with purpose, do them with meaning, and do them with feeling. It's not all clowning, and it's not all arsing about, but it's nice to have a few tales.
definitely.
That is a very good way to end it. Thank you very much for the interview.
thank you,
That was very good.
And can I just say, I've loved this man unconditionally.
We're
since I
mates
first
from a
met him.
long way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's a cool guy.
He's beautiful. He's very cool,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
a genius musician.
Like, yeah, man.
Well, that's debatable, but anyway. Nice one, Johnny.
Thank
Do you ever
Thank
play
you.
together?
Pardon?
Have
We've
you?
played
Well, we
together.
have done one track, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done a track together, and we will play together in the future, definitely.
You gotta let me know that.
Okay.
Right. Fantastic,
Thank
my
you.
friend.
Guys,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so
Enjoy
much.
that.
That's brilliant.